Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I'm also the world's smartest and laziest man. I'm not Elon Musk smart. I'm not good with math or engineering. I'm people smart. I read them. I'm not memory smart, hence the notebook. Or maybe I'm just lazy. Why remember when you can read? I'm retired. I was forced to retire because of memory issues. Apparently it's a disability if you can't remember your friends and family. I thought it was a blessing when I forgot them. When my doctor asked if I'd like to try a new drug that might restore my memories, I said no thanks. I'm fine with forgetting. I think that's when my doctor started to think I was a psychopath instead of autistic. He's probably right. A bit of both. I might be autistic like Musk, but I'm not a workaholic like him. I work the least amount possible for the maximum return. Some people call that lazy. I call it efficient. He actually works 120 hours a week. I perform 1 hour a week on stage. Who's smarter? Sure, he's saving the planet with his cars, rockets, and satellites, but I'll save your mind with comedy or mild entertainment. Instead of trying comedy, what I should do is take the pills and go back to my old career, computer programming. But then I'd be working 40 hours a week, and most of my pay would go to pay the government for back taxes, and my living situation wouldn't be any better. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the opener, memory issues, remember, that I owe a shit ton of taxes. That's the official amount, shit ton. That's an actual measurement in Saskatchewan. How much grain you hauling today? A couple of shit tons. I'm not good at math, but I did the math my back taxes. Even if AI doesn't ruin the field of computer programming, it'd take 10 years or more to pay what I owe. That seems like a lot of work when I can just write the world's funniest stand-up routine and pay off the full amount in one night. If you laugh. If you're not laughing, I'm fucked. Actually, I'm not fucked. I could declare bankruptcy and walk away from the debt. It would ruin my credit rating, but that's not a problem because it's already zero, or it's negative, or I'm not sure what it is. I don't even know how credit ratings work. I'm 60 years old. I should have a basic understanding, but I don't. All I know is mine has to be the lowest possible. I have no credit, so bankruptcy is not a threat to make me pay Revenue Canada. It's a viable option. However, the only thing I like more than comedy is a good comeback story. When I pay back all my taxes within a year of me standing on stage, or one of these stupid videos taking off on YouTube, then that's a great fucking story. End of story. So to pay back the taxes, either I work my ass off for 10 years, assuming the drugs work, or write comedy for 1 year or less, or I declare bankruptcy and tell them to fuck off. Which would you do? If I was pretty, I'd just find an old rich lady to marry and hope she dies soon. That sounds mean, but I'm autistic. I'm too honest according to the doctors. How the fuck can honesty be a symptom of any mental condition, or neurological disorder, or whatever? Honesty is not the problem. Honesty should never be a symptom of anything. Old ladies won't work. I clearly don't have the looks to be a gigolo. I cut my own hair. I wear clothes until they fall off my body. Plus I look young. Too young for a 90-year-old woman to marry. I'd look like her son. Good for her, but I'm lazy, but luckily autism makes me smart. This common idea will solve my failing love life as well. At least one woman will listen to this and think, he's cute, or he's smart, or I'd fuck him. Look at all the millions Elon spends on his kids and wives, or whatever he calls the women he impregnates. I won't have to spend a cent. They come to my show, they fall in love with me, I go home with them, eat their food, stay at their home until they kick me out, and then go back on stage to attract the next one. Lazy and brilliant. Or I get lucky, and the first night I meet the love of my life and live happily ever after. That's a pretty fucking good story too. Or I bomb on stage, go on a bender, and end up living on the streets, injecting heroin the rest of my life. Whichever. Elon has the flash and the cash, but I doubt he's a good listener. I don't imagine him having long, deep conversations with his concubines, unless it's about rockets. I, on the other hand, am functionally mute. I haven't had a conversation in years. I'm an excellent listener. I'll listen to your woman problems all night long. You talk, and I'll look for material in your life, something I can use on stage to further my career. Don't worry, I won't say anything personal like, your armpit is so long that I could braid it. So to summarize, I'm disabled, autistic, broke, and can't dress myself. A perfect catch. Disabled, so you know I won't go anywhere. Autistic, so you know I'm honest. I literally cannot lie, and everything I've said so far is 100% true. I'm broke, but I don't need much to live on. A few pizza pops and some beer. Plus, I'm funnier when I drink, not meaner like most men. I can't dress myself, but I don't care what I wear. Buy me whatever you think I'll look good in, and I'll wear it. Unless it looks gay. I'm not an idiot. I did the math on my current attractiveness. The only way my looks are attractive to another person is through comedy. Put all this information in Tinder, and even if I look like Brad Pitt, I wouldn't get a match. I'm not lazy. This is just a better way. Actually, call me lazy. Call me a fool. The more ridiculous this story becomes, the greater chance for success. I'm lazy, but I'm lucky. Plus, Google wives of famous comedians, and you'll see a list of old white dudes with a variety of young hot wives. If you're vain like me, comedy is the way to go. Or desperate in your last chance of love and happiness before throwing yourself off a bridge. I was forced to live on government disability due to memory issues. Did I mention I can't remember shit about the past? The same government that pays me monthly then complains and asks me to pay back my back taxes, or to pay my back taxes. Make up your mind, CRA. I knew it would be nearly impossible to find a place in Vancouver. Then, like a miracle, I found a room to rent in a house full of international students. I lied and said I was a student, but before I was planning on returning to school if I could. And I would have, if again, it wasn't for the government. They wouldn't pay for re-educating me after declaring me disabled, but they still want their back taxes. Cunts. Anyway, back to my living situation. Currently, on my floor, I share a kitchen and 2 washrooms with 3 female students in their 20s. I'm lucky because all of them remind me of my daughter, both in age and race. Also, I treat them like my daughter. I only talk to them when needed. I say hi to them when I run into one in the hallway, but there's no long conversations. Everyone seems to mind their own business. Sometimes I hear them talking and laughing in the kitchen, but I don't join in the conversation. Again, like when a teenage daughter has friends over, you have to stick around the house so they don't bring over teenage boys, but otherwise you try and give them some space. Although in this case, I guess university-age boys, or young men, I guess. If my 20-something roommates started bringing teenage boys home, I'm not sure what I'd do. It wouldn't be illegal, so I'd probably just watch the teenagers leave the house with a massive smile on their face. My housemates are all pretty, but again, like my daughter's friends, I try not to notice. The only thing I do notice and don't like is the long black hair in the bathrooms. On their head, it's pretty, but stuck to the walls of the shower, it's not. The drain is disgusting. I've learned not to look at my feet while I shower. I've tried shoving it down the drain with my big toe in the past, but I've given up now. I start to gag. I'm glad I only had one daughter. 3 would have been a hair nightmare. To be fair, that's not completely true. I had one daughter and her Asian mother. It was a hair nightmare. In my current situation, one of the 2 showers gets pretty bad, but the one I use has been good for months. The girl that uses it doesn't seem to shed too much, and I can wash it down the drain before heaving. I feel sorry for the landlord when that pipe backs up. Well, he could probably save the hair and donate it to cancer victims. I hope they wash it first. I pee in that shower. I'm not going to say my housemates' names for 2 reasons. 1, to protect their privacy when this comedy gold crushes somewhere. 2, because I can't pronounce any of their names, first or last. I can spell them, I see their mail on the kitchen table, but I can't pronounce. They all introduce themselves to me, but the names are too difficult for my mouth to repeat or my brain to remember. Instead, I have nicknames that I use in my head. The smoker, the nurse, and this one sounds bad, but Petri dish, which is close to how her name is spelled, so I think it fits. It's not about her cleanliness. In fact, Petri dish is the one who sheds the least. The smoker scares me, not on purpose, but we both walk quietly, and too many times I'm either leaving the house for a smoke or she's coming in after one, and we accidentally scare each other, coming around a corner. We both laugh, but I'm considering asking her to wear a bell. I'm not sure my heart can take too many more surprises. I would wear the bell myself, but I'm already strange enough as it is. The nurse is the friendliest. I broke my hand last year, and she's the only one who asked me how. The other 2 didn't care, or I guess she probably told them. She asked if I needed help with anything, but the only problem I was having was wiping my ass and showering. However, I remembered my golden rule, and if I wouldn't ask my daughter, I shouldn't ask her. Not that I would. I'm autistic, not an asshole. I figured it out myself. I do have a backup plan. For back taxes if this so-called comedy fails. Counterterrorism. I'll explain. I figure at least one of my other housemates, not the ones that live on my floor, but at least one of the other so-called students, is probably a spy for their home country. My plan is to catch them and then collect a reward so large it pays my back taxes and sets me up with a nest egg for the rest of my life. I can always tell when new students move in. The Wi-Fi sucks for a few days. I think they're watching porn 24/7. Then they get it out of their system and the Wi-Fi goes back to normal. I have no proof. This is a simple deduction, as I notice the Pornhub homepage looks different at the beginning of the month, like someone new is influencing the house feed. To each their own. I'm not into BBW, but someone from another country sure is interested. Now, if the entire feed was old white guys hooking up with international students, and I knew I wasn't the one searching for that, it'd be a different story. It's not. Trust me. I check the page once a day, just to be sure. And no, I don't search for international students. I'm not interested. You'll find out why shortly. To be fair, it's not just porn. Everyone in the house got a notice about someone downloading GTA 5 from BitTorrents. I have respect for the game, but there are better ways to steal software than torrents. Maybe I should give new housemates a lesson in VPNs. Sign up for ExpressVPN today. Use the promotional code KillTony. Old comedians and old rich dudes are the only guys getting women in their 20s. And Elon, but he doesn't count. Sorry, I should say successful comedians who are probably rich too, but I think they prefer to be called a successful comedian over old rich dude. I love irony. Now that I'm 60, I'm surrounded by way more 20-something girls than I ever was back in my 20s. Back then in the 1980s, if you didn't work with them or go to secondary school, they didn't seem to exist. Bars were the only place to meet a potential partner. And although I'm funny drunk, eventually I'd have to sober up and be myself. Now I live with 3. In addition, I can go to any coffee shop during the day, and again, Every barista is 20-something, hot and exotic looking. Where the fuck was Starbucks in the 1980s? I would have either gotten a job there and hit on all of them, or spent my paychecks watching them work and trying to worm my way into their existence by sitting there daily, pretending to work and looking cute, or like a pathetic puppy, whichever would cause them to take me home, or scratch my belly. I'm easy. Instead, now I just look like a perverted old man, living with students and drooling over any barista that is nice to me. It's hard not to look like a pervert if you're old and alone. I try to go to the park and write, but it's noisy. Fucking kids. At least I don't look like a pervert there. I sit on the other side of the park, sitting on a bench tucked between a couple of trees, with a telephoto lens hidden in my gym bag. Just kidding. The Samsung 24 is a great zoom. No long lens needed. I unfortunately can't lie. I have a Samsung 7. Technically I have two, so that's like a 14 if I glue them together. That's an autism joke in case you haven't figured that out yet. I do go to the park quite a bit in the summer to watch the kids. Not perverted, because I avoid the end of the park with a wading pool and playground. It's nothing but kids falling off monkey bars or screaming at the top of their lungs like it's the first time they've touched water. I hang out by the ball diamonds, where parents picnic and let their kids run free like dogs. I like watching the kids push themselves, chasing a soccer ball until they fall face first in the grass. Then I laugh. I need to stop making jokes about kids. No matter what, after 5, it sounds perverted. I'll go back to jokes about my pretty international housemates and how they have pillow fights every night while scantily clad because the air conditioner is broken again. I wish that last statement isn't true. I don't live in the Playboy Mansion. In fact, I like it cold, not hot in the house, and they don't wear anything scantily. They wear sweaters and sweats. Boring. See, I can't lie. The following stereotype is true, though. People from other countries cook weird shit. I don't mind. I can't smell. My nostrils are blown out from years of coke. Not true. Adderall, yes. Cocaine, no. But not snorting it. Snorting Adderall doesn't make it stronger. So I've been told. Either way, their food choices make the recycling bin way more interesting to check out when I'm making my own deposits. I do have a complaint about one of them. I'm not sure which one. I'm too shy to say anything about it. And now I find it kind of funny. Like when the smoker scares the crap out of me. The recycling bin is near the door to my room. I and 2 of the girls gently place articles in the bin, while the final girl thinks she's in the NBA, throwing a 3-pointer at the buzzer, who throws a can from 10 feet away and rebounds it using my wall like a backboard. And I can't even figure out which of the 3 does it because it normally happens during my afternoon nap, and I'm too lazy to get up and say something. If I accidentally catch her in the act one day, I'll find something funny or sarcastic to say to get my point across, just like I used to with my daughter. Trust me, the daughter golden rule is all you need to manage or attract women, especially if you are lazy. Now on to the racist jokes. Some of you may have heard about a Trump rally where comedian Tony Hinchcliffe told a great joke about Puerto Rico and the mainstream press had a conniption fit. The outrage drove his popularity even higher. Maybe it'll work for me. Remember my dream to pay my back taxes by being a comedian? One set to change a lifetime? Mine? Yours too if you think this shit is funny, not just desperate and pathetic. I can't be a complete racist because I don't know what countries my housemates are from, but I would say anywhere from any part of Asia, and then some from the other brown areas of the world. Is that racist enough? I mean, there are 3 rice cookers on the counter. Can't they share one big one? A Canadian symbolic melting pot, so to speak? Maybe after I pay off my taxes, I'll supply the house with one big-ass rice cooker and unlimited rice. On one condition, no rice maggots. What are rice maggots? Glad you asked. This is primarily a condition that affects white people, or people like me. Weird. Rice maggots are grains of cooked or uncooked rice found on the floor or in the sink or any place you'd rather not see a maggot. Because for a split second when my brain sees a random grain of rice on the ground, it says maggot to me. Then I remember the odds of maggots being on the floor are much lower than rice, and I clue myself in. I won't be a Nazi about it. Here's free rice, but please keep the rice maggots under control. Is Nazi racist? I really need to get counseled before I even start doing stand-up. There's no fucking way I'll remember this set. I don't even want to say it again. I wish one of my housemates was Puerto Rican. But would they be international? What is Puerto Rico? It's not a state, but it's American. American isn't international enough for me, especially from a territory. Hell, I barely respect Alaska as a state, mostly because the Canadians were dumb as fuck for not outbidding the US in that deal of a lifetime. The whole concept is a second thought. Make Puerto Rico a state or cut it free and let it flow away like a big fat garbage patch. See, I knew Tony was right to make that joke. It feels great to call things garbage patches. My hair is a garbage patch. My wardrobe is a garbage patch. I'm a fucking garbage patch person. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired, autistic garbage patch senior with a plan to change my life through comedy and making fun of everything and everyone in my life now and forever. I call myself autistic, a retired autistic senior, but really I'm the retired autistic senior. It's not like there's a group of us, a club that meets monthly. I don't know any retired people, and I don't know any autistic seniors. Maybe I just want to be unique. When I got diagnosed with autism, I disagreed. I wrote a 200-page summary as to why the doctors were wrong. I don't think I'm autistic. I think I'm either lazy or stupid or both. Or I'm a fucking genius. In my current living situation, I'm surrounded by 3 20-something hot female international students. Yet I fall for a hot 20-something barista. And I'm so dumb, I'm too shy to talk to the barista, and I'm too dumb to practice with my housemates. That's not autism, that's just stupidity. On the other hand, since I've had the same 3 roommates for almost a year now, it'd be creepy as fuck if all of a sudden I started to pretend to hit on them for practice. It's even creepier to tell them this story and ask for help. Again, if I wouldn't ask my daughter. I don't know if one comedy set can change the world, but it sure could change this man's world. If this set goes viral, everything changes. If it doesn't, I just wake up the next day and do it all over again. That's the only benefit of having a shitty memory. I can't remember how bad I did the day before. Perfect for a comedian, especially since I refuse to listen to any of my past recordings. I think no memory is the absolute best obstacle I could have in becoming the world's greatest comedian. If you want to be good, forget about the past day and your past life. My life is like 50 first dates, but without the love and happiness. Anyway, back to my living situation. I doubt any of my housemates see me as a father figure. Probably just some weirdo who eats pizza pops 5 times a week. I'm sure they see my recycling bin contributions. The only thing I know, based on the recycling bin, is when it's quote-unquote that time of the month. Yes, all 3 of them are synced up in their monthly cycle. I don't know how they did it, but they all seem to get a check from their parents in the same week of the month. And then, during that week, the recycling bin goes from ramen packages to takeout containers. Which, to be fair, is the same for me when I get my old age security check. I go from pizza pops to frozen pizza with extra cheese. Living the life while retired. I don't set a very good example, parenting, or a positive Canadian example for the students. I sleep in until noon. It's lucky if I have a shower before 3. Then I'm out from 4 till midnight. I'll come back smelling like cigarettes and beer or cigarettes and coffee. This is more of an erratic and a strange uncle behavior. I might be an uncle. Can't remember. Memory issues. I don't set a good example for anyone. Plus I've done a shitty job in this story of explaining the barista. I guess I have 5 20-something girls in my life. My daughter, my 3 housemates, and a barista I have a crush on. I call her the barista because I also don't know her name. Well, her last name. I know her first name, but I'm too shy to say it on stage. Like it's bad luck, and she'll never appear again if I do. I doubt I'll ever be with the barista, but it's a good story. The concept got me out of a depressing thought, being alone the rest of my life, and never getting laid again. I'll explain. I'm 60 years old. I'll explain. I'm 60 years old, but I'm not dead. Little Dave works just fine. In fact, we plan on having children again, if the barista plays along, or any woman of childbearing age. The barista is probably half my age. I know nothing about her other than her looks and her interactions with customers and coworkers. Half my age is odd, but not as bad as half my height. That would be odd if she was waist high and equally proportioned. However, she was twice my height. I'd be okay with that. Sex with a giant would be interesting for me. I'd give it a go. It'd probably be boring for her, or pedophile-ish. I'm also twice as ugly as her, although that comparison doesn't really work if she's not ugly. So I'll say her beauty is twice my ugliness. I know I said I'm the world's smartest man, and I probably am, but she's the world's smartest person. She's probably twice as smart as I am, which would make her the world's smartest woman and the world's smartest person. But I would remain the world's smartest man. Why do I know she's this smart? I'll explain. Yes, finally, I said I was shy. Thanks for sticking around this deep into a quote-unquote comedy routine. Before I developed an undeniable and never-ending crush on the barista, I used her. I used her as a character in a script. A smart woman, pretty but out of place. I noticed one day that she remembered my coffee selection. It wasn't difficult. She basically read it out to me before I tried to order. From that moment forward, she often, not always, started my coffee order for me as I walked into Starbucks. If I was in line, it would be ready and waiting for me by the time I made it to the cashier. I know she was acting like the app if I had ordered online. I didn't mistake this as her having an interest in me. I simply noticed it as a potential character for one of my scripts. So I kept track. I sat close to the till, and any time she remembered someone's order, I made a note in my notebook with a description of the person. There's nearly 100 orders that she knew of by heart when the one that broke the camel's back, so to speak, came through the door. Actually, before that, I would call her my crush. And before I would call her my crush, I did think to myself, somebody that can remember that many orders surely can remember to submit my taxes every year. A perfect wife. And she's young and hot and pretty. Can't go wrong. Actually, before that, and before I would call her my crush, I did think to myself, somebody that can remember that many orders surely can remember to submit my taxes every year. A perfect wife. And she's young, hot and pretty. Can't go wrong. Sorry, but I, or the pervert inside me, threw a joke in there. Storytelling mode can get a bit boring, even for me, the storyteller. Anyway, the character in my notebook and the real barista were nearing 100 memorized orders when a gaggle of women came in one day. It wasn't busy. The cashier was in the bathroom, and the barista was making a drive-through order. Then the barista noticed the cashier was taking some time to return and asked one of the ladies, "Should I start your usual order?" And then she repeated a long, convoluted coffee order back to the lady. Shocked, the lady said yes, and then turned to her friends and exclaimed, "I guess I have a usual." Overhearing the lady, the barista added, "I remember, normally you come in with your students. They all talk about you being a great teacher." The teacher replied, "My students?" To which the barista replied, "Yes, your students." And then something snapped in my head, and the crush turned into lust, pure evil sexual attraction, and I knew I'd do whatever it takes to bed this so-called barista. Or, I sent her manager a complimentary email about her excellent customer service and kindness, and then I either found out everything I could about her, asked her out on a date, and even though she's at least half my age and probably assumes I'm near homelessness based on my clothes and broken laptop, but by some miracle she says yes, or I ghosted her, never went back to that Starbucks, even though it was the perfect distance from my house, and had the most comfortable seats. And I haven't seen her for a year, but I spent that entire time expanding the character into the perfect wife, or the perfect theoretical wife, while simultaneously working at becoming a stand-up comedian so I can walk back into that Starbucks and not feel like a complete loser when I ask her out. Or if I ask her coworkers if she's single. Or if I just hand her everything I've written, walk out and hope she doesn't call the police. Or she does call the police, but then I'll know her last name when she testifies in court. Or whatever. I'll give you a second to guess what a retired autistic senior would do. Correct, I haven't seen her for a year. And no, I didn't stalk her. At least those are the two questions I would ask if I was listening to this story. And I definitely wouldn't be calling the police, as this could be satire and not a true story at all. Wink, wink. Is everyone clear now? If you've laughed so far, I'm well on my way to making this the world's greatest routine, or whatever it is, and solving not only my financial issues, but my love life as well. Or you didn't laugh. I get it. You hate love. I've been there. Maybe the rest of this love story isn't for you. It's clear I've given up on making this a stand-up routine. I don't care. I don't care if I'll be forced to read this on stage from a book, because I can never memorize half this shit. Clearly. I don't care if I'll be forced to read this on stage from a book, because I can never memorize half this shit, funny to me or not. On the other hand, if I was Elon, I'd just walk up to the barista and awkwardly say, "Hey, I'm Elon Musk. I'm rich, successful, and make beautiful, intelligent babies. Unfortunately, I'm busy saving the world. So, you'll be the primary caregiver, but you and the kids will be set for life, even if all my businesses fail. So, are you interested?" And he'd get a yes or a no and walk away. Hell, if I could get pregnant, I'd give him a yes. I'm not that lucky. I have to prove my love to the barista by writing silly comedy stories and standing on stage embarrassing myself until I'm one of these successful comedians, or those successful comedians. I can read a fucking sentence. And then I'll have to return to that Starbucks again, pray she still works there, and risk embarrassing myself again if I find she does. But is now married. That would suck. Although married or boyfriend, I'd wait it out. If married until they have kids, then I'd give up. But a boyfriend is different. Fair game if there's no ring on the finger. In that case, I'd just make sure one of my videos, or a few 100,000 words of mine, found a way into her phone. I just have to be funnier than the boyfriend. And since I'm the world's greatest comedian, it's a shoo-in. And clearly delusional. I really should just go back and see if she's working tomorrow. And if she is, just sit outside all day reading this routine to myself, or anyone who will listen, or until someone calls the cops. Both will probably happen on the same day. The first day someone hears this type of humor in public, it may butthurt them. Either way, fuck Elon. I'm building my harem my own way, one at a time. The barista gets to refuse me first, which she should consider an honor either way. I mean, she'll be jealous as shit when I bring my second pick into Starbucks daily and she's basically sitting on my lap the entire time. Nah, that sounds mean. I'll just ghost her again and come back yearly to see if she's available. Maybe I'll find out her birthday at one of the trials and use that as the anniversary date. A bit creepy, but easy to remember. Now you know why I don't hit on any of my housemates. I spend all day writing about the perfect wife. It'd feel like cheating on the character. Sorry, I mean the barista, who is a character and a person. They just haven't met each other. Yet. It gets confusing, which is why it's easier just to ghost her. And she's hot, so there must be a boyfriend or girlfriend. Anyway. So this story is really more of a writing exercise at this point than a crush or love, or not. Who the fuck knows? Back to my living situation. And hopefully some more jokes, or anything funnier than me being a desperate loser with a crazy plan to seduce the barista through comedy. I don't hear anything outside my housemates' rooms except laughter or a loud movie. I assume the noise leaving my room is the same for them when I watch a movie, or cry myself to sleep, or fart. I'm kidding, of course. I don't cry myself to sleep. I pass out. That's a lie. I'm a 60-year-old man. 60-year-old men don't cry. We build up all of our pent-up frustration and take it out in anger, just like every man, regardless of age. But we fart. A lot. And loudly. Or I guess proudly. I pay $666 a month rent, the perfect amount to charge the devil. It didn't start out that amount. It was $600. But with the minimum increase applied yearly, it's now $666. I don't mind. Every month I pretend I'm the devil and it's blood money. I have an overactive imagination. Why else would I try to seduce a stranger, half my age, with only comedy, without even talking to her? Either I'm nuts or I'm brilliant. The DSM-5 says nuts. I say comedic genius. My room is pretty noisy when the window's open, but closed it's fine. But the room gets stuffy. Remember, farts. Open at night is all right. Earplugs take care of the noise, but during the day I'm screwed. It's too noisy. Which is what forced me into the arms of my priest in the first place, a quiet place to write. On a less love story note, basically the only time I can write from home in a relaxed environment is if someone dies. Let me explain before you call the cops. I live beside a transit station. Trains come and go every 2 to 5 minutes throughout the day, and I'm beside the on-off ramp to a busy bridge. The only time I get a break is if someone throws himself in front of a train or off the bridge. Then, for an hour or so, the trains stop while they clean up the mess, or the bridge traffic stops as they try and talk the person down from the ledge. Either way, I get a decent break from the noise. I know what you're thinking, and I agree, suicide is a bad thing, even though it is legal in Canada. I'm not in any way suggesting more people kill themselves. I'd rather have everyone alive and well. But, if they're going to do it anyway, and nobody's going to stop them, why not use the bridge close to my house? And then, like in San Francisco, they could put up some nets or something to catch them, or whatever they have done there. I'll still fuck with the traffic for a while, giving me a break, and eventually it'll lower the number of suicides when people know they'll get help at my bridge. Brilliant plan, yes? Not psychopathic at all. Sure, maybe a bit selfish and autistic, but according to the DSM-5, that is who I am, and I cannot change my personality. Ever. I'm not sure what to do about the train suicides yet, but I'm working on it. They are a lot messier to clean up than a body floating in a river. Maybe they could just slow the fucking train down a bit before it arrives at the station. Less noise for me when they're arriving slowly, and if someone jumps in front, they'll just get shoved down the track a bit, or bumped over, not hurt. Unless they electrocute themselves, then they're fucked. Nothing can do about electricity. If that humor is too dark for you, I don't care. Snow works as well. Enough of it will close the road and station, but this is Vancouver, and snow is rare. I can understand why international students would prefer Vancouver over Toronto or any other cold city. I wear this hoodie and only this hoodie unless it's below zero. They put on their winter coats the moment the first tree changes color. I'm not nosy, I'm just observant. Blame the autism, not snoopiness. The two houses beside me are also full of international students. I can't confirm for sure, but the makeup of the tenants are the same. I watch them coming and going when I smoke in the backyard. I'm determined to find the spy, or at least have data ready for the government when they interview everyone in the house about Mohammed next door. I thought one day I had him. I noticed a pattern of one neighbor who comes home, sits in his vehicle for 10 minutes. I assumed uploading data to a foreign server via a sat phone before he goes into the house to his girlfriend/wife. I'm not sure which she is. But if he sits out there too long, she comes out and gives him a look, at which point he reluctantly leaves the comfort of his truck. Then I realize he's probably not a terrorist. He's probably listening to his favorite playlist, the one she hates, just preparing himself for home life, like any other new Canadian. On a different note, Trump won the election thanks to Elon, which means a bunch of things for the world, but more specifically, Elon will continue with his plan to repopulate the earth single-handedly, and now he'll have a line of women waiting to be impregnated. I think I made a mistake taking the comedic approach and focusing on one woman. I'm clearly not the world's smartest man. I should have stuck with computer programming, or gotten a job in AI. However, I'm still a world's most determined man. Either the barista will be my wife, or I'll continue to write stories about her until I die a long, lonely death in my room, and my housemates are forced to call the authorities because of the odor, greater than the farts. I'm kidding, of course. I always keep my window open, so it would probably take until the end of the month, and after having paid my $660 in rent, for anything to happen. The landlord would start pounding on my door, get impatient, open the door thinking I've skipped town. He and the housemates see my rotting corpse. The girls lose their minds. The landlord thinks, that mattress is fucked. But the bed frame's probably okay. And then finally this will go viral when they realize my webcam has been on the entire time, time-lapsing my body decomposing live. Joke, I can't afford a webcam until I go viral, and I can't go viral without dying and stinking up a room. In the joke, not in real life. As I said before, I wouldn't do that to my daughter, so I wouldn't do that to my housemates. I realize this is more pathetic than funny, but the truth hurts until it doesn't. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. Today is November 11th, Remembrance Day. As a comedian, it's my job to create a joke about Remembrance Day. The only thing I can find is about the poppies. I think they just need to use a bobby pin instead of that straight pin for poppies. The pins are a pain in the ass and poke you several times a day. We need bobby poppies. Get rid of the straight pin. Meow. Originally I was going to stop here, but I decided I'm just going to record for 1 hour. And at the end of 1 hour, it's done. So this is part 2, but it's really just a continuation of part 1, if anyone fucking cares. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior who's in love with a woman half my age. I'll explain. I'm retired, but I was forced to retire due to memory issues, hence the notebook. Don't worry though, that's not the bad kind where you forget your friends and family. It's the good kind where you forget your friends and family. I'm poor retired, no RSPs, no savings, no house, no car, no credit card, no money under the mattress, no gift cards that I haven't used, nothing. Every month I receive a disability check from the Canadian government for $1,500, which they threaten to take back for something called back taxes, whatever that is. Rich retired go to the tanning salon, poor retired have farmer tans. I'm barely a senior. I'm 60, but my body feels young, 30-ish. My brain feels 120, but there's nothing I can do about gray matter. And finally, I'm not in love with a woman half my age. I have a crush on a 20 or 30-something barista. The barista. I don't know her age, but I'm hoping it's 30, not 25. Although at this stage in my life, what difference does it make? I'll never do anything about it anyway. It's just a good story to tell. The noise in my house is still a problem. I'm losing sleep and grumpier than normal. Here's an idea for the transit people. Install decibel meters inside and outside the trains. If the train gets too noisy when going fast, it automatically triggers an alarm and slows it down to a less noisy speed. Or maybe a maintenance work order is automatically generated to give the train a good greasing. It's sprayed down with WD-40, whatever they do, if they do anything at all. And I currently don't think they give a crap. Another one for transit. I find it offensive that advertisements in the train for HPV vaccine only advertise to 18 to 45-year-olds. What's a pervert like me supposed to do? I haven't been with someone over 18 in a long time. Joke, I can't lie. What is HPV? I know nothing about it, other than it requires physical contact to transmit, so I'm not worried. Finally, my last beef with transit, for today at least. Nobody ever offers me the disabled seat. Disabled/senior seat, which I'm both. Mentally disabled, sure, but it counts, and I look off enough to maybe offer me the seat. After I said that the other day, someone actually did offer me the seat. I realized though it's just because I looked at the sign and I was reading the sign, and then I looked at the girl, and she's like, "Oh, do you want me to leave?" I'm like, "No, you're fine." Anyway, I'll just stretch that out. My laptop is old like me and overheats like I do. The only place I can use it is on my desk, and only if the window is open and it's below 7 degrees outside. I can't take it to the library anymore for fear that if I move it, it breaks permanently and never starts up. Plus the library is room temperature, too warm for the computer, And me. Outside at Starbucks would be cold enough, but there are no plug-ins, and my battery's dead. Plus, I'm still ghosting the barista, so I can't go there anyway. If I was smart, I would have developed a crush on the weed barista, not the coffee barista. I could use a discount for the amount of weed I smoke. Coffee, I can still afford. Barely. I have a notebook because sometimes I mess up that first line and say, I'm a retired autistic salesperson instead of senior. Imagine me as a salesperson. Hi, I'm David. I'm a retired autistic senior. I say that so much I forget I can't really retire. I need to start a comedy career and pay off my back taxes instead. In my first set, The World's Greatest Set, I said I couldn't lie. It's mostly true, but I do exaggerate. At the time when I wrote that, I was not smoking. I was on nicotine gum. But somehow, coming home smelling like nicotine gum and coffee doesn't work as well as smelling like cigarettes and coffee. So I exaggerated. Sue me. I don't know what generation 20-something is, X, Y, Z, whatever. I see them as a generation who loves technology, just not to connect with others. Well, family. Well, me. I had to remove my daughter as my emergency contact for fear it would take her a week to respond in an emergency. To be fair, I'm a shitty emergency contact too. I haven't had the phone ringing turned on for years. And when I do get a message, if I don't recognize the number, it takes me a few days before I bother checking who called. It's probably just the CRA calling about their fucking back taxes anyway. I'll have the last laugh with my kid though. When I die, she'll be forced to have the medical examiner unlock my laptop with my dead finger. I found a solution to the bridge suicide problem I talked about before. Stickers. I'm going to secretly put up a bunch of stickers with the suicide prevention hotline number on them. Maybe just once a day to keep them fresh, and so I don't get caught and charged with vandalism or graffiti or stickering. I hate government overreach. There's probably a specific law against stickers. Eventually, though, rumors will spread, or someone will take a video of all the stickers and it'll go viral, making my bridge a place to jump to your destiny and giving me a break from the traffic. Knowing my luck, though, all the tugboats will start blowing their horns to alert the people on the bridge. I can't win. Maybe I should move into an old folks' home. Assisted living, me and all the wheelchair-bound seniors. 3 meals a day cooked for me? Why not? I can become the complex horror until the barista notices my amazing comedy. Maybe I am autistic, although I don't believe autism and most of the conditions in DSM-5 are real, but especially autism. The one condition where the patient is fine, but the family wants him or her to change their personality. However, when it comes to the barista, maybe I am autistic. Most people, when they fall in love, or most people, when they are attracted to someone, would change their appearance, change their clothes to present themselves in the best possible image of them. I would too, except the barista already knows I only have black t-shirts, jeans, and shorts. So what am I supposed to do now? Walk into your Starbucks, wearing an Armani suit? I don't think so. It wouldn't work. It's not me. Plus, if the government found out I had nice clothes, they'd probably repossess them. I should really give up on the barista, but the university seems to have other plans. The last housemate to move in basically looks like the barista. Could be her sister, or cousin, or tribe mate from the old country. A pretty girl moves in across the hall. How lucky am I? Not very. Every time I try to talk to her, I get tongue-tied. How unlucky am I? So I can't even talk to someone that looks like my crush, let alone my actual crush. I hate Wi-Fi. There's a router outside my room that I can't connect to, but if I'm in the backyard 38 feet away, I can connect just fine. I hate Wi-Fi. I have memory issues, but I can skip the notebook if I take Adderall. The only issue is that I talk too fast. And last time I took Adderall by prescription, I ended up in the psych ward. I don't think the doctors know shit. I was diagnosed with ADHD in 15 minutes. 18 questions and 15 minutes later, I walked out with an Adderall prescription. That is some serious psychoanalysis and medical diagnosis. Not. How did the doctor know I wasn't lying? The questions were obvious. Do you have trouble sitting still? Let me see, doctor. Which answer will get me the drugs? If I'm ADHD and or autistic and or psychotic, One of the traits should be determination. Same goes for old age. Fuck old age. Fuck autism. Fuck labels and levels. I'm determined to find a wife, not a girlfriend or a partner, a wife. Not an old-fashioned love, honor, and obey wife. A modern woman, childbearing age, so decades younger than I am. Why not? In 10 years we'll all be cyborgs, or Tesla-borgs, and age will not matter anyway. I get lost when writing or reading this. This is why I return to my opener. Hi, I'm David. I'm old. I'm retired. I was a computer programmer. I've been married a couple of times. I have one grown adult daughter. I have memory issues. I was diagnosed with autism, but I disagree. Some people think I'm gay, but I disagree. I'm trying to become a writer or a comedian or both. I look like a Ricky Gervais clone. I'm incredibly lucky. And I'm in love with a woman half my age. That's a lot to take in. I don't have a starting joke, so I'm going to pick randomly to begin. I wrote so many openers before I started this routine, I made everything an opener. Hi, I'm David. I'm a late bloomer. I couldn't grow a full beard until I was 40. I didn't try weed until I was 45. I didn't smoke cigarettes until I was 55. And now I'm 60, addicted to both, and restarting from scratch. A new me. I guess I'm not a late bloomer. I never bloomed. I know I don't look 60, at least I hope I don't, as I'm in love with a woman half my age. I think she's half, approximately. At least over 25, probably. I'm rounding up to 30 just in case. I'm not a pervert. If I'm in love with her, I should know her age, yes? I don't. I'm not even sure she's single. But if she isn't, I'm willing to wait. I need to work on myself a bit anyway. And become a rich and famous comedian. On a different note, I used to be really fat. 300 pounds. I remember losing things while watching TV and looking all around the couch to find whatever, and realizing that it's somewhere in my fat, and all I have to do is stand up. So I'd stand up, and then my pen or phone or remote would fall out of my rolls, and off I'd go. I lost the weight with keto and fasting, but long before either were cool. My friends and family all thought my heart would explode if I ate nothing but a high-fat, meat-based diet. Or they wished it would. I'm not sure. Either way, it worked. Keto works. Fuck the haters. I did it alone without telling anyone. I was traveling at the time and living out of hotel rooms. During the day I fasted, basically. I'd go to Starbucks and drink coffee with heavy cream. Then I'd go to the grocery store and buy some meat. Not only chicken wings, but often chicken wings. And go back to my little hotel room and I'd deep fry those fucking delicious wings. So many I'd put them in a big old thing that you put food in. Bowl, thank you, big old bowl. I'd sit on the couch, watch Netflix and consume chicken wings for hours. And it worked. I lost the weight. However, I still have man boobs. With everyone being trans now, I thought seriously about wearing a bra. Nobody would notice. The only reason I want to wear a bra is so I have some place to put my vape. I saw a girl doing that the other day and I thought, fuck, that's a brilliant idea. It's a money holder and a vape holder. I'm poor retired, which is really semi-retired. You have enough to live on, but you need a part-time job to live. Something reliable like Walmart greeter, not something impossible like stand-up. But I'm also idiot retired. I chose stand-up as my extra income, the worst paying entry-level position in show business. It pays nothing until it doesn't. Then it can pay a shit ton, enough to shut the government up permanently. Poor retirement is like being homeless, except you have a roof over your head, but the day-to-day is similar if you're alone, or homely like me. But poor retirement is better. In normal retirement, you continue to live your regular boring life until you die. Sure, you might reduce your belongings a bit, but ultimately you die the same person you were all your life. I'm forced to become someone new, or do something new. I'm grateful for being poor. If I had the money, I wouldn't do anything but sit in the park all day and smoke and drink, like the old guys lawn bowling there 4 hours a day. Where I live is the one thing I don't mind about being poor. While I do question my own actions or observations sometimes, I sit outside and smoke and observe like a parent, not a pervert. But in the early morning hours, I do see the walk of shame sometimes. I've seen every combination of international coming and going in a celebration of love and joy. Or I've seen a bunch of horny university students hooking up. Well, I didn't see it. I assumed it. Maybe they were just studying until 5 a.m. while drinking wine. God damn, that recycling bin gives up secrets. Category opener, subcategory love. Hi, I'm David. I don't do stand-up to become famous. I don't do it to get laid, though it'd be nice. I do it because I'm in love with a younger woman, and this is the only way I know to impress her. Laying? Yes. Or no? I don't care. If you laugh, I get laid. Make sense? Why comedy? Here's a hint. If it's easy to make her laugh, she'll fall in love with you, assuming you're not acting, and you're not an asshole underneath the act. If you're a true comedian, using material and situations from your real life, you'll open a connection to the audience, or in my case to her, through the audience. If you're acting like a comedian and are funny, great. If it makes people laugh, I get it. However, I'm not interested in acting on stage. If I'm not funny and my stories are not funny, great. I'll fuck off. I wanted to be a comedian back in my 40s, but I was too embarrassed to get on stage. I didn't see how it would change my life. Whereas now, 20 years later, comedy changes everything. Category openers, subcategory idiot or genius. I'm either an idiot or genius, you decide. Here's my scenario. I'm 60 years old, broke, no savings, no RSP, and nothing but a monthly CPP check from the government, $1,500. Basically a homelessness sentence. However, I was lucky to find a reasonable room to rent in a house full of international students. 2/3 of the residents are female and hot, but I'm not interested. At least not now. I'm in love with a random Starbucks barista who doesn't have a clue I exist. Well, she may remember me as a client, but I doubt she sees me as a potential suitor, if such a thing still exists. Either way, if she did notice me, I noticed her too late. By the time I realized how kind and probably how funny she is, it was too late. I'd fallen in love. And then, like an idiot, I ghosted her. I stopped going there until I could return and sweep her off her feet like Richard Gere in that movie, whatever it was called, An Officer and a Gentleman. Until I remembered, I'm old, fat, ugly, and poorly dressed. Plus, even though she's not fat, I doubt I could pick her up. Anything heavier than a laptop is more than I can handle. And, for over a year, I visited her cafe 45 times a week, looking like a massive loser. I didn't even bother to check and see if she had a boyfriend or girlfriend before I stopped going to that location. I decided that even if she could, or even if she did, I'd wait. To be clear, although she was very pretty, that's not what attracted me to her. Originally I noticed her because she was the first at that Starbucks to remember my usual. Did I fall in love because I was too lazy to order? Maybe. I'm not bitter about being poor retired. Before I retired and before I lost my memory, I was able to travel around the country with my daughter. Best time of my life, I think. Can't remember. Kidding, I filmed the entire trip. I can watch anytime I like. People are so worried about privacy, but for anyone who has memory issues, the more past recorded conversations, the better. I think they need a special AI for Alzheimer's patients that records all their conversations to help them remember or to refer to before arriving at an important meeting, like a doctor's appointment. The doctor reviews their notes. Why shouldn't the patient who can't remember use an AI to produce a summary of their past doctor visits? Back to my housemates. They outnumber my shoe count 10-1. For some reason, they all keep their shoes outside of their rooms. Maybe the shoes stink, or they just like the extra room. I'm not sure. But each of them has 10 pairs or more. I have 3. 1 pair of winter/rain boots. These shoes I'm wearing now, and the previous pair of these shoes with a hole in the bottom that I use as house slippers. I have nightmares about not making it to the washroom in the middle of the night because I can't get through the wall of shoes in the hallway. End of part 1. Grace.